lest I forget, somebody inboxed me and noticed something in the last tutorial, which I applaud the person for. Thank you very much if you're watching. You told me that I did not lift the underbust measurement by ½ inch as we always do for every corset. Yes, that was intentional, but I omitted explaining why I did that. I'm so sorry about that. I should have told you guys why I omitted lifting the bust measurement by ½ inch. Why I did that was because, you know, that lifting of the underbust by ½ inch is just to give the bust a lift, okay? And I do not want that to happen, because giving that bust a lift, that is what causes all those cleavage opening and all that, and I was trying to avoid that. That was why I did not lift the bust, the underbust area, by ½ inch. If you have watched that video and then you notice that I did not lift the underbust by ½ inch, that was very, very intentional, but I forgot to mention that in the video. Please, I'm sorry if that caused any form of confusion, you know, to anyone. Thank God for somebody that noticed. That means you really understood the corset tutorial, and that was why you're able to, you know, take note of that. So thank you to you. You know yourself that inboxed me telling me, you know, pointing out that omission. Thank you. Hi guys, how are you doing? You are welcome back to yet another tutorial video. If you are new here, you are most welcome. My name is Chinyere Chichi for short, and if you are a returning subscriber, I love you as always. So I'm here to show us another corset making, but with a skin illusion at the center front. If you're interested in knowing how to achieve this illusion look at the chest area of your corset, then sit right back, relax, and enjoy. Please not forget to give this video a like, not forget to hit that subscribe button, and put up your post notification bell to always get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. And here I have all the vertical measurement already marked out, including the shoulder, which I got by dividing the shoulder measurement by 2 plus 1 inch, and then I have the armhole also marked out. So I have here the armhole line, the breast point, the underbust, the half waist, but I'll be using the total length of the pattern paper. This is because of the V shape or the back waistline we have at the front part of the dress. So the total length for this is shoulder to the hip minus 3 inches. And next I divide the breast point measurement by 2 inches, and I'm going to be marking that all the way from here to here, and that is 7 inches divided by 2, which is 3.5. So I have here the breast point measurements, and I mark it all the way down. And right from the breast point to the underbust, whatever I have, which is 3.5, I'm going to be using that to form a circumference round, just like so. So I have the circumference now, and then at the underbust area, I'm going to be marking 1 inch between the breast point line, right at the lower part of the circumference and at the topmost part of the circumference. And coming to the half waist length, I mark also 1 inch between the breast point line, and at the bottom part I mark ½ inch between the breast point line, and then I connect all the points just like so. So here is the connection from the underbust to the breast point, and then from the breast point to the underbust, and I do the same to the other side of the circumference just as well. So here I have that, and then I connect from the underbust to the half waist and down to this lower part, just as you can see as well. And right at the underbust, I'm going to be coming up by ½ inch. Like I already pointed out in the beginning of this tutorial, that in the previous tutorial, that's the last video before this one, I did not lift the bust. I did not come up by ½ inch from the underbust, and like I said, the reason was because I do not want that push or that lift that we normally have in corset that exposes the cleavage. And I'm so sorry I did not, you know, clearly state why I did not do that. I just went ahead and did what I did. But here I am here to tell you that it was intentional. It wasn't an error. So please, once again, sorry about that. So back to where we were. So I came up by ½ inch at the underbust, and then at this breast point line, I'm going to be going up by 1½ inch. You can use 1, but I choose to use 1½ because I'm trying to avoid too much exposure of the cleavage. So at this 1.5 inch that I came up here, I am going to again be coming in by 1 inch from this point. Please take note that this is the area where we are going to be having the skin illusion or the mesh net, you know, attached to the corset itself. So this is what this area is all about. So at this 1½ inch, like I stated earlier, I'm going to be coming in by 1 inch So I mark 1 inch at the 1.5 point. Please do note that you can use more than 1 inch at this point. This is dependent, or this depends on how wide you want, the skin net to be at the center of your corset. Okay, so if you want it wider apart, you can use more than 1 inch, let's say 1.5 or 2 inches. And if you want it minimal or lesser, you can use 1 inch or even half. That depends on how wide you want that to be. So I connect this point, and then I'm going to be connecting this new point to our former circumference. Okay, so I'm not going to be using this other circumference that I marked with the red marker. I'm going to be connecting another circumference for the center cup. So this is what we have for the new cup at the center area of the corset because of the deep yoke that we have. That is the skin net illusion at the center of the corset. And next, I connect the underbust to the breast point at the side and then up to the armhole area. So here we have the part of the corset with the armhole. Now for the depth of the yoke, which is going to determine how deep the skin net is going to be. If you want it to come all the way down, fine. If you want the skin net to terminate at the underbust, it is also fine. If you want it to get to the half waist length, it is also fine. But this one I want to terminate at the underbust. So here we have it all the way to the underbust. Please also note that this is the center fold. So when you're cutting your skin net, this place is going to be placed on fold. Now coming to the chest area of the corset, please remember that in the last corset tutorial before this one, that is the very last video before this one, I stated that for the chest area not to be open, if you don't want it too exposed, you're not going to be coming in by half an inch from the circumference before you mark your strap. That is at this point, okay? But in this case, I want that to happen. I want the chest to be open. So I'm going to be marking half an inch, which you already have, and then I connect upward just like so with the slants. Okay, this is because I want the chest area to be a bit wide. And then I mark 3/4 of an inch from the shoulder downwards, to form the shoulder slant. So here we have the shoulder slant. To draft out the Basque waistline or the V waistline that we have at the front, I'm going to be taking this part out. I'll cut that part out before I now draft that pattern for the Basque or the V shape that we have there. So now it's time to input all our horizontal measurement. That's the body circumference measurement divided by 4 plus the seam allowance. And I'll start with the bust divided by 4 plus 2.5 seam allowance. So here we have the bust divided by 4 plus 2.5 seam allowance, which is 12. And then I come down to the underbust. If you have been following my corset or bustier tutorials, you understand how I go about this body shaping. So coming down to the underbust, I just add 1/4 of an inch to what I have at the bust area, and coming to the waistline, I add another 1/4 of an inch to what I have at the underbust. But if what you have at the waist measurement is smaller than what you have at the underbust, you can use what you have at the underbust and mark the same thing at the waistline. But if the waist is bigger than the underbust, you add 1/4 of an inch to the half waist area, and then you shape all the way down. So the summary of the body shaping is I add 1/4 of an inch to whatever I have from the bust all the way down to the half waist area. Now for the Basque or triangular waistline, I'm going to be cutting this part out before I do that. Okay, I'd like us to note that all the cutting is going to be cut along all the part that I marked with the blue marker. So watch carefully to see where and how I'm going to be going about the cutting. Please, if you haven't subscribed up to this point, please click on that red subscribe button, give this video a like, and please do not forget to put up your post notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. So guys, you can see how the cutting is going so far. So this is the center part of the corset, that the center cup area of the corset. So I'm going to be marking it to differentiate the up from the down. You can see that the shape looks almost the same. So I mark it 1 and 2 so that when I cut on fabric, I'll be able to differentiate where should be up and where should be down. Okay, so I keep that aside, and then this is the yoke area of the corset. That's where the skin net is going to be. So this is what we have for the skin net. Please remember I stated that this is going to be placed on fold, and then for this one I place it on the other side, and I mark half an inch from the center fold just like so, and then I connect all the way from the half waist to this half inch that I marked. This is going to give us the Basque or triangular waistline that we have on the dress. So after cutting, you can see that for this center piece, this is the new shape we have for that. And then I continue the cutting of the cup area, and this cutout is the corset area with the armhole and shoulder. And finally we have this cut out also. So at the end of the cutting process, we have every part of the corset with deep yoke, shoulder and back waistline represented and ready to be cut on fabric. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.